Hello, my name is Rick Riddle. I'm going to be the instructor with this class for term number 3. That would be spring term 2021. And this class is GM543, Managerial Economics. Right? There are two textbooks required for the class. Managerial Economics by Frobe, 2018, the 5th edition, and New Ideas from Dead Economist Todd Buckles. Now, both of these have been used for a number of years. So they should be available from past classmates if you have any friends that have taken the class before, or for rent or purchase in used editions fairly inexpensively. Generally, you can reach me pretty much very quickly online on Saturday or Sunday afternoons from 2 to 4, or if you just generally send me an email during the week or any other time, I will almost always respond within 24 hours, right? Now, I will only respond to emails and emails only from your Franklin Pierce email account to my Franklin Pierce email account. I only use Canvas Inbox to send out mass communications to students. I won't be responding to Canvas Inbox communications from students to me. You need to send me an email, and that email must be, according to school policy, from your Franklin Pierce email account to my Franklin Pierce email account. All right, so what's required, what's part of the class is the stock market game, online threaded discussion every week except for the last week, application of the principles from the textbooks, and learning from the New Ideas from Dead Economists. A lot of students find those ideas very interesting. Problem solving from the textbook, and also writing skills. Writing skills are very important for graduate students. Right? Now, as far as evaluation for the class is concerned, threaded discussion, the average of your threaded discussion grades are going to represent 30% of the total grade for the class. The stock game is going to represent 30% of your class grade, and your theory assignments are going to represent 35% of the class grades. And finally, the module paper, this is kind of standard for all the MBA classes, represents 5% of your grade. Right? Now, the final grades will basically be according to the Franklin Pierce MBA program grading chart, where an A is 93 to 100, an A minus is 90 to 92.99, etc. All right, threaded discussion. Every week is going to have, except for the last week, is going to have 1 or 2 threaded discussion questions. Now, you are expected, except for week number 1, to post initial response not later than Wednesday evening, and then post additional responses on at least 2 other days along with that initial day. So a total of 3 different days for 3 to 5 total posts. If you have excessive posts, you will lose points for excessive postings. All right, so please be careful for that. Your initial post, wherever possible, should be properly researched, and include that research in your post and cite that research. It should be visually appealing. It should be based on complete sentences. It should have a header on it, not something like week 2 discussion, week 1 discussion. It should be, something that's representative of the topic that you will be discussing. All right. Now, what else? The philosopher discussion. That's similar to the other discussion questions. However, what I do require for there'll be a description in every week for that threaded discussion, for the philosopher discussion, and it's going to ask you, for example, what are some of the key points of this philosopher's thoughts, right? And you need to use at least 1 supporting quote, preferably a couple of supporting quotes from the reading, and indicate the quotation marks to show that it's a quote from their philosopher, and the page number from the New Ideas from Dead Economists. You will lose points, significant points, if you don't support your post with direct quotations from the New Ideas from Dead Economists. The stock game, there will be a separate discussion, separate video just on the stock game, so we can talk more about that, because that confuses a lot of people. All right, theory assignments. Week numbers 1 through week number 9, there are going to be theory assignments. A lot of them are going to require you to do some research. Be sure to cite your sources. Wikipedia, for example, is not an acceptable resource for an MBA program, for threaded discussion, for any assignments or any papers. Unit number 10, there's no separate theory assignment. That's going to be basically to finalize your work on the stock portfolio project, which is going to be due in unit number 11. So there will be no theory assignment in unit number 11. And finally, unit number 12, there will be no theory assignment that week. That's a short week. Wednesday of that week is the end of the week, and the module paper will be due in that week. That's the only item for that specific week, that specific item. And actually, I need to put on there that change this to Wednesday. So your module paper is going to be due on Wednesday of that last week. So your module paper is basically very, very similar to module paper of other classes that you've done. 3 parts. What have you learned from the class? Briefly summarize the course, what you've learned from the course, not what the course is about, but what have you learned from the course. It's a good chance to actually reflect back on what you learned from the class. Part 2, and you need to actually indicate to me the 3 different sections of the module paper, so I know that you've actually identified each section and responded to each different section. So 3 sections, please. Highlight some kind of a header section in each different section, so I know which question which part of the 3 parts you're responding to. The second part, how is this class relevant to your workplace activities? Can you apply any of the course learning to your life? So think about your hobbies, your job, your personal life, your retirement goals, for example. Where can you apply things that you've learned in the class to your actual life? So for example, we're going to talk about in week number 1 interest rates. How can you apply that to your personal life? For example, mortgage rates. That's going to be something that's going to be applicable to many of you either now or later in the future, or maybe refinancing mortgage rates are applicable to you. Part number 3, how does new learning apply to your strategy or foundation paper? So part number 3 basically means you need to relate the class back to your original foundation paper. So you're probably going to need to talk a little bit. You don't want to include, but you need to talk about how you said what you were going to accomplish in your foundation paper by doing the MBA program, and how does this class fit into this? Maybe the only way this class fits into it is that it's a requirement for the MBA program, and that's how it fits into it, right? How does it fit into, your strategic plan? Do you need to reevaluate your original plan? If there's no need to reevaluate your original plan based on your foundation paper, then you need to so indicate. If you haven't taken the leadership class yet and you haven't done the foundation paper, please be sure to indicate, I have not taken the leadership class. I'm taking that class in conjunction with this one, and therefore I cannot relate the class back to my foundation paper yet. Or basically, you should still be able to if you're taking both of them at the same time, but I believe you are allowed to take the leadership class in the second term if you want to, and this class might be the first class that you're taking, so you might not have taken it yet. Does the course material help you move forward towards your goals, right? And we like you to include portfolio artifacts, ways that you've applied the class to your actual job, your community program, your hobbies, maybe some volunteer work that you've done, things like that. So class schedule. Basically, the class runs on a Monday to Sunday week, but keep in mind that threaded discussion, initial post, except for week number 1, is due on Wednesday. Now, you have access to all the units right now, so you can actually post if you want to. Week number 2, threaded discussion, your initial post in week number 1 if you want to, but you need to be active in each week as well. All right, so keep that in mind. All right. So threaded discussion, initial post by Wednesday night, post on 2 additional days along with the initial posting day, at least 2 additional posting days. Keep in mind, basically no more than 5 posts per week per student for each discussion question, and that would include your initial post. So your initial post plus up to 4 additional responses on a total of 3 different days. Now, I'm not going to penalize you if you occasionally do a 6th post, but some students will typically do 10, 11 posts every single week, and they will lose points off for that. All right, homework is going to be due on Saturday night. Right? I'm sorry, on Sunday night. Homework is due on Sunday night, so threaded discussion ends on Saturday night. Homework is due on Sunday night. Now, other things, there are other due dates. The stock project is actually due on a Saturday night. That would be Saturday in week number 11, Saturday, May 15th. The module paper is actually due on Wednesday. That's a short week. It's the only item for week number 12 is the module paper, and that is due on Wednesday, May 19th of 2021. Now, my policy on late assignments, I will accept them possibly if there are truly extenuating circumstances. If you always submit your homework at 11 o'clock at night, on Sunday night or 11:50 p.m. or 11:45 p.m. on Sunday night and you have a power outage, I won't take that as an extenuating circumstance. You will receive no credit for your assignment if it's late that particular week. But if for some reason, for example, you're ill, you always post your assignments early, you're in the hospital, you had a death in the family, something like that, email me, submit the homework as soon as you can. Write in the comments section why your homework is late, and I will evaluate that accordingly. Now, keep in mind that applies to homework and basically something like possibly the stock project, possibly the module paper, but I won't go very long additionally on the module paper because grades are due. Discussion posts, because of the nature of what discussion is, if you post after the end of the unit, you will receive no credit. It doesn't really matter what the reason is, you'll receive no credit for that discussion post. Right? The syllabus is subject to change. Right? Some of the boilerplate language for Franklin Pierce University finishes up the syllabus. Right? If you have any questions, please try to email me on those. I hope everybody found this first video helpful to you to understand what's required of you for the class. I think you'll find that the class is really, really informative, and it's actually a lot of fun. You're going to be able to apply things that you haven't done before. It's not like an undergraduate economics class where you have to do a lot of number crunching or anything, but it's actually going to be applying economic terms and concepts to real life. So I think you're going to really find it a good class. You're going to find that you'll be able to apply a lot of it, and you're going to learn a ton, and it's going to be enjoyable for you. So that being said, I will close out this short video. All right, welcome to the class, everyone.